everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another fashion edition. Today we're going to take a look at a few more outfits from the Colombia trip, and next weekend we will look at the rest, so be sure you're subscribed so you do not miss, and I will link day one for you up here and in the description box. So let's start off with this Johanna Ortiz cami and maxi skirt dress. This is a black and white sort of patterned ensemble here. It's very spaghetti strap, very straight across, squared off right about here. It does accentuate the angularity of her chest and shoulder area, but it does have some things going for it. So let's get into it. It's a Colombian designer, as we know. That's good. That's nice. But if it had been a different color, it definitely would have been brighter. A pop would have been nice for this trip, but just in general. So this has a bunch of sort of ruffles and some sort of a tie, it looks like, coming from the bust area, which for Meghan actually is good. Somebody busty, or if you're just curvier in general, having extra volume right across the bust area is just going to exaggerate the situation and not necessarily be flattering, so to speak. For Meghan and her body type, though, this is something that's actually just fine. I think overall it does look just a little bit messy with the various jaunty stripes and the ruffles. It's definitely a beach dress. This is a casual setting sort of dress. I don't think it's necessarily perfectly suited to the occasion as per usual, but I also think that for the events that they did in this particular outfit, going to like a drum lesson at a music class or something like that, I think that it was okay. You could argue it one way or the other. I think spaghetti straps are best to avoid when you're doing things like this, as we've discussed. They're much more casual, private life sort of realm rather than a public facing situation that's going to be publicized. But ultimately, it could have been worse. It's definitely not the worst thing that we've seen her in. But despite that, it manages to not necessarily accentuate the boxy torso. The ruffles add a little bit of volume to her chest, which then in turn reduce the visual weight of the shoulders. It creates a little bit more visual balance. Purse is very much not the vibe for this set. It doesn't fit in. It's a little bit off in color. I just don't love the choice of purse for this. And also the skirt is too long here. It should have been hemmed up. So I don't love it, but it's certainly not the worst look. I think the hair and makeup were a perfectly fine choice for this day and for this outfit. I don't particularly like the hat that she is threatening us with here in this picture. As for Harry, his shirt is a nice pretty blue. I think that was a great choice. The trousers and shoes clash. One is very just true beige, pretty neutral or even slightly cool toned, and the shoes are very, very yellow in tone, and no socks. Yes, he should be wearing socks. This was not good. I agree with the internet on that one. And in terms of Harry's sweat stains and wrinkling in his outfit here, I think this is something where we do need to give some exceptions because it is quite humid in this location, so it makes sense that his shirt would wrinkle some, and weather happens. Heat happens. I believe later in the day is when they were out in this outfit, and I understand that this day was quite hot. So once again, we're going to give a pass for the wrinkles. Wearing linen in the heat is at least going to be comfortable and makes sense. So we've got to give a pass there. Just look at how sweaty Harry is. So I think it's okay to set that aside. There is no excuse for the mismatched whites, Meg. The top itself is quite cream colored. The skirt is like a true white. The hat is a different shade of off-white. And then there's a black band on the hat and black shoes. That at least kind of goes. But overall, this just doesn't match well enough. This is not how you do a tonal outfit. It could have been improved. As far as the rise of the skirt, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. It could have been just ever so slightly lower to elongate her torso a little bit, give a little bit better balance. But ultimately, because it is more monochrome, I think it works okay in terms of balancing out her body type and not making her look particularly off balance. Shoes, however, are the worst for her. She has quite long feet, so having the line across the top of the foot is going to elongate her feet even more, and the ankle strap is just going to chop things up beneath the hemline of that skirt. So I think that she should have gone for a different pair of shoes just in general, maybe some flats or like some simple tennis shoes or trainers like these that are just really simple and low profile. They would have been perfect for this occasion, made sense, and looked much better. When it comes to wearing a hat and sunglasses, that's not the best choice. Typically, you want to do one or the other in this sort of a scenario. The purpose of a hat is so that then you don't need sunglasses. Would have made more sense if she just went one or the other. And these pictures, these outfits are from the start of their second day. Harry's outfit here is just absolutely awful. The elements on their own, each by themselves, would have been okay, paired together with something else. But this combined clashes horribly, and then paired up next to Meghan clashes even more. His ice blue shirt maybe could have passed as acceptable with the olive trousers, but it definitely would have needed different shoes and a different belt. Cream trousers or beige or even navy would have been ideal with this shirt. The olive trousers could have benefited from a different color belt no matter what top they were paired with, but they would have been perfectly acceptable with just a regular white or cream shirt instead of this ice blue one. The shoes in their yellowy shade really took the cake for clashing and screwing up the whole outfit. They look horrendous together. The whole thing all together just looks bad. Meghan's jacket is really, really warm toned as well, so altogether it just looks like various shades of gross. As for Meghan's look on this day, I think that her hair and makeup look just fine. She doesn't have particularly dark eye makeup on this day. She has a slight side part. All of those things are good. And yes, her face does look a little bit darker than her neck and chest, as many of you have pointed out across all her outfits on this trip. And there is no denying that she's probably wearing too dark of a foundation shade. Most people are. And as we know, she tends to put on far too much bronzer and really bronze up her cheeks a lot right around here, which to an extent she could be trying to minimize this area of the face because she does have a more diamond shaped face where it's wider right about here. So maybe that's part of why she cakes it on right here. Regardless, do remember that in the summertime or when you're getting more sun, your face is going to get more sun than other areas. Your neck especially is a little bit shaded from your face, and depending on your neckline, your chest may or may not get as much sun as your face. Even if you're very diligent about sunscreen, your face is out the majority of the time unless you're always wearing a hat, so it is going to tan at a slightly different pace than other areas of the body. But moving on, as for her outfit, it missed the mark. This is not good. Let's start with the jacket. The shoulder seams are just a tad bit too wide. So it may be just a size too big, and she certainly didn't get it tailored. The length is good in terms of blending her short torso by elongating her torso. So it doesn't accentuate that proportion imbalance in terms of torso to leg. So that part about the jacket is a good thing. I don't mind the color or the finish of the shirt underneath. Looks profoundly wrinkled. She definitely should have at least ironed it, but better yet, just gone with something different altogether. The fact that it's got black buttons and all the wrinkles and the particular neckline that it has, none of that really flows together with this particular jacket that she has on. I think a simpler undershirt would have been much, much smarter. As for these jeans, they are the complete and utter wrong option with one exception, and that is the rise. As you can see, these are a lower rise jean, which is exactly what she needs, once again, to not draw attention to her shorter torso. The rise of the jeans is good. Everything else is a horrible option for this outfit and in general. The cropped length is one of the biggest problems here. You don't want to pair a longer jacket with cropped bottoms. You just don't. Do a longer jacket with full-length regular hemlines. If you're doing a regular or cropped jacket, you can get away with a cropped bottom or a midi skirt. It's one or the other. You don't do long jacket and cropped bottom. Just don't ever do that. So while it elongated the torso, it ended up shortening the leg, which defeats the purpose and makes things look weird. It made her legs look too short, so it just took things in the wrong direction. Also, they are a skinny fit, which is going to accentuate the thinness of her limbs, and they are black, which is going to thin them out even more dramatically. So this ended up doing a box on short toothpicks sort of a look. Not box on stilts, box on tiny short little toothpicks. It was just a bad choice all around. She should have gone for straight leg trousers of some kind. Just straight leg, something simple, something with a bit of room in it, and full length hem on those trousers, like at least down to the ankle bone. I also don't love the color combination we're getting here with the black trousers, the white shirt, and the brown blazer. Like, none of it really matches. And then on top of it, her flats have a very light peachy nude to them. Yet another shade that doesn't really fit in. So this whole entire thing was kind of screwy. I think if she really wanted to go with the top that she had on and the cropped jeans, she should have gone with just plain white tennis shoes, sneakers, trainers, something like that, just really low profile and simple in all white. classic, clean, simple, and chic, and skipped the jacket. Not done that jacket at all because it just doesn't go with a black and white look. So this whole outfit was unfortunately not a great choice. Now the jacket itself I think is fine. She could have paired it up with different things and made it work. Just this all put together did not work well. To see the rest of her outfits, be sure that you're subscribed so that you do not miss next week's fashion edition covering the rest of her Columbia wardrobe. Leave it in the comments what you think and what her most successful outfit of the trip was and which one was your least favorite. Now it's time for question of the day. Parker Pubs asked, why is Meghan standing with her leg like that in this picture? Well, this is actually a common pose. It's a bit of a trick with the aim to give a graceful and hopefully flattering angle for the camera when you're kind of standing relatively straight on. You put one foot, let's say left for the purpose of this explanation, you put your left foot at like I think a 45 to the camera, and then you place the heel of your right foot at like a 45 to the other foot. Something like that. So your feet are kind of like this a little bit. And then you put your weight on your back foot or your left foot in this example. In your front foot, your right leg has a bit of a bend to the knee, and it's just supposed to kind of give you an appealing stance for the camera. But what I really think was happening here, despite it being a posing trick, I think she was just trying to hide those stains. But what do you think? Leave it in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. And if you have a question for question of the day, please leave it below. I will see you next time and have a happy day, everybody. Bye.